ladies and gentlemen, my he's, she's and theys. Thank you so much for coming here today, man, and walking with us and being on this journey. You know, we've linked up with the North Face to talk about our feelings, but also to inspire getting outside and also get offline, you know? Yeah, allow the algorithm, bro. You get it, you get it. And then finally, we have two of the greatest musicians in this country, icons of the South, and they really do have something to say. Please make some noise for Frankie and Harvey Gunn. First off, how you guys doing? What are you saying? How's your weekend?
Good, man. It's been good. It's been busy. We were over in Germany on Friday night for a great festival, Reeperbahn Festival. That was a bit of a late one, and then back in Saturday, rested, prepared for today, and woke up this morning. It's a beautiful day, so I hope you all enjoyed the walk, and thanks for being here to listen to us speak. It's been a good weekend. Busy, very busy. Quite tired, if I'm honest with you. Very running on limited sleep after the festival, but I'm happy.
Fire. Nice one. And Frankie, what about yourself?
Yeah, I can't have an answer as cool and as smooth as that. But yeah, sound, man. Happy.
Oh yeah, cool then. Thank you. No joking.
Happy to be here. Thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate you.
And how was Germany?
Sick. Yeah, proper sick to be fair. Hamburg. It was a really good show. Been there a few times. Like half saying though, pretty tired, man. We got into the hotel at 2, and we had to be in the airport at 4. So it's like, can't really sleep less than that, to be fair.
Yeah, the maths didn't work out, but it was a good festival. Yeah, good festival. It was one of those kind of like industry ones, which are sometimes a bit funny, but it was a great crowd, and Germany is always a good one for us.
Yeah, often those ones can be a bit weird, the industry shows, when people don't want to they're not there to dance or have a good time, but this didn't feel like that at all. Like, it was super cool. Everyone was up for having fun, which is what you want, man.
And have you got any favourite spots, favourite places to go, play your music?
What, in anywhere?
Anywhere. Well, on the topic of Germany. Doesn't have to be Germany, but any favourites?
Such a great question. Many. I think it was difficult to beat Australia, but I think a lot of that is maybe just because it felt so crazy going there and doing it. Like, it felt super surreal being so far away, and they definitely know how to have it over there. So I think Australia was definitely up there. But yeah, UK is always great. Brighton is always great. Whenever we do hometown ones, it's special.
Sick. Any for you?
Australia as well was pretty awesome. Anywhere in Germany, they're always up for having a good time. Anywhere that wants to dance and have a good time and isn't just trying to be too cool on their phone, or anywhere that's really up for it. Brighton, no, Brighton. Nothing beats a hometown show, man. Nothing beats a hometown show.
And so, what impact do you think that nature has on your music?
Good question. Well, definitely quite a lot, to be fair, because if I'm writing, I always go out into nature with my headphones on and write in nature. If I'm writing bars, I don't write bars in the studio. I could go to studio to kind of listen to what Harv's making and chop it up and have meetings and make plans about it. But if I'm actually writing like a song, I'm by myself and I go out either to the beach or to the woods by mine. Like, I live just by the downs, so yeah, big impact.
Almost essential, you might say.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah.
Full stop. All right, say that. Cool. And what about you? Does the environment or the nature you're in ever have an impact on your music?
I think in the opposite way, because obviously as a virtue of like what I do, you can't really do it outside. So I think I have to, make time myself I call it like filling up the creative well, like before you go into the studio. If I need to kind of have had some time on my own in nature, just to clear your thoughts, clear your head, and often like get ideas, just like vague creative ideas can come to me. And then obviously when I have to get link with Frankie and make the music, it's in a studio usually with no windows, you know what I mean? So it's like I have to get my nature elsewhere and then channel it into that. But we do a lot of writing trips where we'll go and stay in an Airbnb and write, and there when you can like pick your environment, we always pick the most secluded, most nature surrounded places, and they're often where we make some of our best music.
What is it about the sort of emptiness that like helps bring something out, do you think?
sick question. I don't.
Maybe lack of distractions, I think, is a lot. It's like you can't, like, even if you wanted to, you can't go out and like kill time. You can't go and get a coffee, or I don't know.
Almost forced into having to get really stuck in, and there's nothing else to like stop you doing that. You know, whether that be a bus going past outside or my little boy screaming in another room. If I'm trying to write bars at home, it's like you can't. You have to be just somewhere where no distractions really. Just echoing what you said, but yeah.
And when sometimes if we go to studio in London, like, and you could be in there all day, and then you have a break and you step out, and like you might see something crazy going on, like in the high street, or something that just pulls you out of that and puts you into a, I don't know, negative headspace, or it could be anything. I don't know, something that you see things you see can influence your creative like headspace, and if all you can see is birds and trees and grass, it's most likely going to be a positive influence.
Back into the music for a little bit. Taking a bit of time off. How's that been for your mind and your headspace?
Good, to be fair. Like I was saying to you just kind of earlier on when we last spoke, we have been taking time off releasing the music and being like active on social media, but we haven't really taken the time off actually making the music. So I don't really feel like I've had that much time off, because we've been creating still. We're just changing the way that we release it into the world. But feeling probably the most positive about music I ever have done, making more of it than we ever have done. Feels in a good place, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been it might seem like there's been time off, but it's been a mad year. There hasn't really been any time off, to be honest. Like, if you see an artist and they seem like they're ghosts on social media, it just means that they're probably fucking writing their asses off.
We spoke a little bit before about kind of, I guess, identity through music, you know, and like to me, like your lyrics and your production and the songs that come out as Frankie and Harvey Gunn are largely quite vulnerable, I think, and there's certainly some of your lyrics are hard hitting to me, and the introspection is really beautiful and moving to me, and I was wondering if that's ever like an intention for you as a sort of like a character, I guess, or is it more just how you express?
Definitely the latter. It's just how I express. It's never really intended to be, I don't know how to say it. No, there's no intentions behind any of it really, which for better or for worse, I don't plan how people will perceive it. I'll just write what will come into my head, and whether that be kind of like a really deep, emotional hip-hop tune or like a gassed up show-off tune. It's just depending on what mood I'm in. I feel like the minute I start thinking about how it will or should be perceived by other people, kind of lost the authenticity a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I don't think you ever would question. I don't think a creator would ever, or an artist would ever think about like making something that someone else wants to make for a reason of self-expression, if you know what I mean. I think the reasons are different. Like if I think, oh, will people like this? It's not because it's like, oh, am I expressing myself right? It's because it's like, or do I, from an point of insecurity, or like you want validation, or you might want fame or money from it, like, different things. I think if you've got stuff in you that you need to get off your chest and create as an artist, I don't think you can't think about how people will receive it, It's pure expression really, isn't it? And that is obviously, that's a difficult thing to upkeep throughout if you are privileged enough to make it your career, because it's, you get pulled in different directions by different factors that aren't just pure self-expression, but you've got to stay true to that the best you can.
Yeah.
Throughout that though, like throughout our career, I'd like to think we are doing the same. I want to keep the kind of core, I don't know, realness or the reasons as to why like we made music in the first place. Like we didn't think about how other people would perceive it when we were 15 in your mum's house making tunes. So I don't want to think about that now just because we're lucky enough to do it for our jobs and other people listen to it. I still want to keep the kind of core beliefs throughout, depending on if we're big or small or people like it or don't like it,
Totally, yes. I think it's the most important thing for an artist is staying true to that and not overthinking what you're making. I always say that to people. People ask me for advice on producing, and I just say just make it. Like, don't overthink it. Don't think about why. Don't even think about why you're making it or what's the reason for it, or just let it flow out of you and keep that up for as long as you can, even if even if you are privileged enough to make it your job, you've got to stay true to that. Yeah,
We
that's
would play that game perhaps a little bit with social media stuff, but I would never play that game with how and the way we make music. Do you know? I make music or as trying authentically as I can, but if the song is going to perhaps do better if I play by the rules for this video that I use to promote it, then I guess that's sadly part of the game and the world we're in, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. They're so different, like making music is your artistic expression. That is a different bag to social media. That's marketing, isn't it? You're marketing your music. Traditionally, this would be done by, a long time ago, this would be done purely by marketing and advertising executives in record labels, and now we are doing it. It's like, you've got to think like that, because it's different. It's not a creative bag, is it? It's a numbers game to an extent. And if you feel like you've got a good message to put out and you want to put it in front of as many people as you can, so be it, man.
It's overwhelming though, for sure, because the type of brain or person that's on a walk in the countryside writing a lyric that's true to himself is a different person that's like making a marketing plan as to like what demographic of people will this tune go out to. They're two different people, so it's like it is overwhelming.
I wish I didn't, but when you post something and it doesn't bang that hard, and like there's a bit of you that's like, oh, you know what I mean, and it kind of sucks.
Really?
I don't know, but then on the backside of that, I'm like, why do I care? Like, it's not about that, it's not about what people like, So yeah, that's where my question comes from.
I totally get that, and I'm not saying that I just block that out and ignore that, and I don't care what people think, because I would, when you're using an example like that of posting something on socials and it doesn't land, or you only get 3 comments when you think you're used to getting 50 comments, like like that is shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone would feel like that, like I would, but I don't know. It's a weird one. I hear you though, and I feel the same.
Yeah, no, totally.
I just try and block that out as much as I can, because if you start getting into that bag, it's never ending. Then you're not happy with 100 comments because you think you deserve 1,000, or you're not happy with 1,000 cap venue because what's his name's doing 5,000. It's like that. You get into that lane, and it's like impending unhappiness, like impending doom, innit? Like you're never going to be happy with what you achieve.
Harvey, this is mainly for you. On like the writing trips, as a rapper, it's very easy for me to visualize what that entails, because it's just like writing bars. But like, what do the writing trips, what's like your role in the writing trips? Is it that you develop instrumentals together? Do you come up with song concepts together? Or is it, like what do you get out of the writing trips?
That's a great question. I'd say we probably spend the majority of the time making beats, working on music, because Frankie won't write to anything that isn't a finished instrumental. So if for example, we went on a writing trip with nothing like in the locker, nothing pre-made, we'd be sat down together. I'd be producing, making a beat until we find one that Frankie says, fuck yeah, that's it. Then he'll go off and write to it, So I say it's a split. Yeah, I mean, unless we've got the beats ready there, that has to be the first port of call, because if you don't have the music, then there's not space for Frankie. But often we try to go out with a few in the locker, because otherwise it's mad pressure for me. Yeah, man. Yeah, literally, Frankie said, this is shit. Next one. No, I'm joking. No, we work very collaboratively together, like I'm on the buttons, but Frankie always has great input on the music, and we steer it together. Thank you.
Lovely. You got any questions? Anyone want to ask? Here we go.
Hello there. As you've mentioned, you've worked together for 15 years, so you've got like a partnership together beyond your music, I guess. And as we're here today, like with mental health as like a theme, do you find it easy to navigate conversations with each other about your mental health when you have to show up and like work together too, beyond your friendship?
Yeah, that was a class question. Yeah, I do feel super comfortable to be able to speak to Harvey about anything, to be honest, and I like to think he would feel the same around me. Like we have been we've known each other for so long, not even just making tunes together for so long, like we've known each other since we've been like 13, 14, and you know, I'm 30 now, sadly, so it's a long, it's a long old time to be, thanks, to be close with someone. But yeah, I feel like we couldn't be more close and more comfortable around each other. We're both pretty open people as well, which is helps the situation. But yeah, would you feel the same?
Yeah, it'd be crazy if I said no, no. Yeah, completely. I'd say Frankie would be my first person I'd come to, and that's genuine. And also it's super important. Like we are so our lives are so intertwined, you know, like through music and everything we do together. So we've got to be transparent. You know, it's an important relationship, and in important relationships, you've got to both know where you're standing, and you know they got to know how you're doing, and vice versa.
It's good to be open and honest with each other as well when we kind of work together so closely, so we recognise whenever one of us might be burning out, we can speak about it. You know, like, for example, I was saying we had a show the other night and we had 2 hours sleep, and then we coming back and it's like yesterday was cool, but then if there was more stuff, we had loads of stuff lined up for the beginning of the week, like another show and then another show, it's like I need to be able to say, this is getting a bit much, mate, you know, so we recognise when it's important to like take a few days off, because if you don't do that and you're not able to communicate that, for me personally, that's just going to come out in me being in a foul mood or rude to Harv or or being a bit snappy and stuff. And it's like, if you're not able to communicate that, it's probably going to come out in a negative way for me.
Lovely, great question, man. Banger question. Banger question. Have we got how else wants to ask a question? Just so we know. Okay, cool. Let's go for you and then end on you. Cool.
Pretty basic question, but like, how did you two become friends? Like, what was the story? How did you guys meet?
Partying, I guess. Yeah, mutual friends. Brighton's a pretty small place, and we didn't go to the same school, to be fair, but we went to schools fairly close to each other, and we had a lot of mutual friends. And like I said, Brighton's small, so if you're making music, or especially the same type of music as each other, you get to know each other pretty quick. Like, I used to be in a rap group before working with Harv, and then when I found out Harv was making beats, I was like, yeah, we need to connect. And that, God, we must have been about 14. We've been friends ever since.
Yeah, I can remember the first time I met you, like coming, because we have mutual friends, you know what I mean? We both shared friends, and coming, like, the other boys being like, oh, come round to Frankie's, where, you know, God, what would we do? Like, probably just sit in the garden and fucking smoke weed, you know, like. But I remember meeting you then, and then, yeah, started making music together. But I think we met organically first, and then, God, I don't even know what kind of music I would have been making at this time. Like, yeah, shit music. And then, yeah, we started, yeah, it worked out eventually, but hey.
One more question then for the massive. Benjamin.
Would you say you're more motivated when you're chilling in your own lane or when you're competing against other artists?
Straight fire. Here we go. On the spot now.
I can go if you want. Yeah. I'd say in an own lane, because we're both extremely ambitious, like competitive, very competitive, but not really with other personally, not really so much with other people. Like, I think I have a vision of kind of what I want to achieve and the things that are non-negotiables for me. But I think we are in our own lane, and we've always been in our own lane, and we've carved our own lane. I think that's kind of, I think something that's worked for us. Yeah, I don't think, like, I've never sat and gone for stat with another artist, I don't think. But, I mean, yeah, shit, you can get your motivation from many places, but I think both of us have such a, like, motivation and ambition that comes from within. I don't necessarily think we have to play that game too much, but what do you think?
Yeah, same, to be honest. Like, I've always been, like to think I'd be pretty motivated, like, with whatever I do, because it's just the type of person I am. But I think it's good to, like, understand what people around you in the same business as you essentially are doing and kind of where they're at, and you can compare's not the right word, but it's the right word, sorry, but it's good to be aware of what's happening in your scene for sure, because I just think it's good like insight and an understanding of the business you're in. But I think when you get into the comparison game, like on like data and stats and stuff, I think it's a little bit like the point I made earlier with you're never going to be happy. Like, who are you going to compare yourself to someone, and then you might have a tune that gets more streams than their tune, and it's like there's always going to be someone like Ed Sheeran. Do you know what I mean? When does it stop? Like, there's going to be someone bigger than you at some point, you know. So it's like, what do you do? Compare yourself to people you're bigger than to make you feel good about yourself, or compare yourself to someone bigger than you to make you feel shit about yourself? It's lose-lose, I guess.
I've got one more thing to add. I also think, like, we have gone kind of the opposite direction. I think especially you, Frank, like formed all the people around us that we consider in our like scene that someone might consider like competitors. I don't actually know if anyone thinks like that, but we certainly don't. Like, we've forged relationships with them. Do you know what I mean? Collaborated with them and put each other on, and you know, got friendships out of it as well. Like, we've made friends with a lot of people that are in the same game as us, in the same lane, and yeah, I think that's the better angle. Like, because at the end of the day, you're not really competing with each other. You're all like, you know, what's the saying? High tide rises all boats, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? If one person's thriving in your scene, it's good for everyone.
Love that. Cool, what's the cable? It's happened again. I didn't even see you move. It's happened. I have one final question, which is kind of about the future, I guess, really, and just a chance to imagine wildly and idealistically, maybe, maybe manifest some shit, you know? We had a conversation before in another interview for the Just Dream campaign, and you mentioned, Harvey, that 10 years ago you couldn't have imagined in your wildest dreams what you've achieved now. So if you were to dream wildly now for 10 years' time, what would you like your life to look like?
God. It's such a great question. It's really difficult because 10 years ago, if you'd have asked me, I probably would have said I've no idea. But it always, in hindsight, you know, things are so different. Honestly, I've got things that I want to do, and I like to keep a lot of things. Your dreams and goals, I think a lot of them are good to keep to yourself. Yeah, fair. Because not in that, I don't mean that in like a weird privacy way, but like, I think sometimes when you speak shit out into the universe too much publicly, I don't know, I like to have a little fire in my head that you're the only person that knows. I think, but for me, 10 years, God, I'd love to be very healthy and my dog is still kicking around and healthy. I think if that's the case, I'll be super happy, man.
Lovely. Take us home.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty cool answer, to be fair. 10 years' time. Good question. Honestly, to be lucky enough to still be able to be doing this, doing what we're doing now, and doing it for a living, you know, that would be awesome. And even if I'm not doing it for a living, just still doing it, still being able to create and be lucky enough to have, what's the right word? Like a way to express myself, an outlet. That's the right word. Yeah, to be still doing this, man. I'm happy. I've got everything I need.
Love that. Yes. Yeah. Frankie, Stewart, and Harvey Gunn, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Love. Thank you so much for coming, bro. This has been EOTT and the North Face, which is pretty amazing. But even more amazing, it's been with FS and HG, Frankie, Stu, and Harvey Gunn. The South does have something to say, and these lucky people heard it as well. This has been the first ever Walks and Talks. Thank you so much for coming, you guys. What a fucking Sunday. Yeah, brother. Shit, yeah, bro. Come on. Thank you, bro. Love, man. Thank you, man.
Always a pleasure.
Brother.
Yes, man. Cool. Safe travels.
Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
hang on, we'll get to the picture.
So
yeah, no, fuck you guys. Cut the camera. They're boring.
Oh, I'm cutting.
Cool.
yeah,
That was nice, man.
Yeah, that was it. I feel like it ended really wholesomely